All right, friends, welcome. Let's try this again here. Welcome to this live video. Hope y'all can find this. I know that we were just on another live video, but apparently something or someone or what have you said that we were doing some sort of copyright infringement thing. So we're here now. So I'm glad to have y'all here on this live video. Again, my name is Alan Lee, owner and operator of Honestly Handyman Services here out of Sacramento, California, and also owner and operator of the Handyman Journey. The Handyman Journey, our mission is to equip people who have the passion to start a handyman business, equip them with the ability to start a handyman business, also with the knowledge about taking that handyman business to the next level. So if you guys are interested at all about that, I would absolutely love to chat with y'all. As I said before, we did have that other chat going, but for some reason we got kicked off because it said that there was some issue with copyright or something like that. So introduce yourself. I would absolutely love to see who is here with us, joining us today. We're working remotely here because of this COVID-19 quarantine here. So leave me a comment in this chat forum and we will get to you. I would love to hear what your name is, where you're from, and if you have a handyman business or not. Would absolutely love to hear your guys' who you are, where you're from, and if you have a handyman business or not, and how we can help you. If you guys have any questions at all, that's what we're here for. We're here to answer questions. So if you guys have any questions for me at all, I would absolutely love to answer them. I'm going to shut a light off real quick, so give me 1 second here. Okay, I think that's better lighting there. So I didn't like all the glare from the other ones. So, hey, welcome, guys. Glad y'all are here. Yeah, apparently, violating YouTube policies. Yeah, so we got kicked off our last video, off our last live video. I don't know, because there was some kind of copyright issue. So, we're back here. We got it started, so glad to have y'all here. If you guys are just joining in, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, this is the Handyman Journey. We are all about creating new handyman businesses and also taking current handyman businesses to the next level. That's what we're all about here. So if you guys have any questions at all regarding the handyman business or laws or taxes or even COVID-19, I'd love to chat with you about any questions that you guys might have. That's what we're here for. We're just here hanging out. We are working remotely due to this COVID-19 thing. I would love to explain with you guys kind of what my business is doing and how we're surviving, and I'd love to hear how you guys are surviving and how you're doing with all this COVID stuff too. So maybe in the comments also leave me a section, leave me a comment here saying, how's this COVID-19 affecting your business? Are you guys still getting calls? And then also on top of that, I would love to hear if you guys are still marketing or not. Are you guys marketing your handyman business during this crisis? Or are you holding off and waiting? Or were you advertising going into it and now you have stopped? And how that correlates with how busy you are too, because I think that's the key right there. We'll get more into that later, but let's get into the comments here, the chat, and let's say hi to some people. If you're just joining in, let me know what your name is, where you're from, and if you have a handyman business or not. Would love to hear it. So we got Jamie Ramirez. What's up? What's up? Good to see ya. We got Anthony Del Grego from Connecticut. What's up, man? All the way from Connecticut. You're talking to California now, baby. Juan Martinez says, whoa, what happened? Yeah, so we got kicked off because of that copyright. Something was going on. I don't know if someone turned us in, maybe didn't want to listen to it. I don't know what happened, but kind of weird. Pete the Handyman, what's up, Pete? Good to see you, man. Pete the Handyman asks, so how is this crisis affecting you all? That is a very good question, and we'll get into that a little bit more as we go here. Our business is currently still running full bore. We're running full steam right now. I am doing virtual estimates. So as you all may know, that my job description within the company has changed a little bit, where I am the estimator now. And typically I go, from house to house giving estimates every single day. For the time being with this COVID-19 stuff, we are only doing virtual estimates. So I am at home doing virtual estimates through phone calls, emails, pictures, things like that. And then also working a lot on the business aspect of things like marketing. Had about an hour-long chat with my marketing guy yesterday, which was really phenomenal. Working on, income and profit and loss statements and things like that, and then also bookkeeping, and then what we all love, taxes. So I'm working on a lot of business side things here. Our secretary, April, is taking all of the phone calls. She's still busy. Calls are still coming in. They're a little bit slower than they were, but they're still coming in. And then Frank is Frank is out in the field right now. I just got a text from him, actually, so that was funny that I just talked with him. I wonder if he's watching this. Yeah, so that's funny. He just texted me. So we are still working busy. Frank's out there in the field doing some great work. So blessed to have him on our team and all of our employees. We are incredibly blessed. We got Heather Schneider says, hi, what's up, Heather? Good to have you here. Juan Martinez, yeah, YouTube policy. Yep. Tom Adams, what's up? Tom Adams says, I am home by choice. I am still getting calls. That's great, Tom. I'm glad you're still getting calls. Dustin Payne is from Bluffton, South Carolina. What's up? We got Dave Hansen from Wisconsin wanting to go into the handyman business after I retire. David, that's awesome. What do you currently do for work? I would love to hear what you currently do for work, Dave Hansen, and what you'll be retiring from. I think that's a great ambition to get into the handyman business after you retire. Definitely gives you the flexibility. That's one amazing thing I love about the handyman business is the flexibility that it gives you. I mean, you're allowed to create your own schedule, which is absolutely phenomenal. I love that about it. So we got Levy Ray from PA. What's up from the PA? Heather Schneider's from Baltimore. Glad to have you, Heather, all the way from Baltimore. Awesome. We got Kobus from South Africa. Hey, Kobus. Glad to have you from South Africa. That's awesome, man. We got Juan Martinez. Let's see here. Yep. Okay. Sorry, I'm doing virtual estimates as we're talking here, so I'm running the business as we're talking. Juan Martinez says, my business has drastically dwindled, but I also have another backup job that is very busy. That's awesome, Juan. What do you do for your backup job? And do you currently do any marketing with your handyman business that you said is dwindling right now? I'd love to hear that. I want to keep that conversation going, guys. Like, how is your business doing? Are you still getting calls? What are you struggling with right now? What are some things that we could talk about that I could maybe help you, or we could get information from other guys here? I would love to keep that chat going. How's your business going? Do you guys have plenty of calls? Are you guys needing calls? How's your marketing doing? And then how are you doing on selling jobs and pricing jobs and things like that? I would love to hear that. We got Elvin Padilla from Long Island, New York. What's up, man? Hey, are you in lockdown over there in New York? You guys are having a lot of cases, man. That's crazy. Kobus from South Africa says no calls from the 26th of March. A few days ago. Yeah. So yeah, it's a little tricky right now. Some people are not getting. That's very interesting, Kobus. Thanks for sharing that. How are you marketing your handyman business, Kobus? Would love to hear that. And also, what's the handyman business like in South Africa? That's very cool that you're chiming in. I know that there's a lot of people here that would love your perspective, so that's great. Heather Schneider says, are you eligible for the $10,000 grant from the government just being a sole proprietor tax filing status? That's a very good question. I know that there are some loans that you can get from the government that will help you out as a sole proprietor. But as far as that, I would recommend talking to your tax person about that. I am not really familiar with that $10,000 grant from the government. Great question though. Dustin Payne says, I'm still getting work. That's awesome, man. How much work are you getting, and what kind of marketing you doing? That's pretty awesome. Jamie Ramirez says, not sick. We got Kevin Huffman from Ohio. What's up, Kevin? Good to see you, man. Good to see you, Kevin. We got Kay Jefford. What's up? Hey, what's up, Nick? Nick from Ohio. Oh, those went away. Those went away. Anthony Del Grego. On installing fence posts instead of Instead of concrete, use ProSelect foam. Yeah, you know, so there is two different ways of putting in, you know, fence posts. You can use concrete or the foam. I've used the foam before. I don't really like it. I don't know. I really just like knowing that there's a bunch of concrete down there to hold the fence post. But some people swear by the foam. I know it's a lot quicker. It's definitely more expensive, but it's a lot quicker, and it sets up instantaneously, which is absolutely amazing. So there are some pros and cons to it. Let's see here. We got Dolores McGrew from Tulare, California. That's awesome, man. Gabe from Atlanta. Juan Martinez says, initially I did marketing, but I stopped because of too many jobs. Now it is word of mouth. Awesome, man. Awesome. That's the thing about marketing, and kind of the tricky snare of marketing is a lot of people that they'll market and then they'll get super busy. And they think, oh, I don't need to market because I'm busy, right? But I think that is the exact moment when you need to continue marketing, because my thought is whenever you stop marketing, that's when your business starts going downhill. I think you always need to be marketing, because at the end of the day, we're always going to be needing new clients. Now, the other side of that is if you only want to work for yourself, you don't want to hire any employees, you don't ever want to grow, and you have no like advancement in your agenda, then yeah, you can definitely survive off word of mouth. I mean, there's a lot of handymen that do that. But if you want to continue growing and continue advancing your handyman business, and you know, branching out into employees or independent contractors or things like that, you definitely need to continue marketing. That's a very important aspect of it. And then especially when slow times happen like this, like you want to be able to have that marketing built up so that it can sustain you through this time. I actually just talked to my marketing guy yesterday, and we're actually going to be upping my marketing by significant amount. It'll be starting in about 3 weeks, and that's not necessarily due to what's going on right now, but it's due to where we want to be and where our business wants to go, and how our marketing can get us there. That's the whole plan. So if you don't have a marketing guy, it's very important to get a marketing guy. I have a great one. His name is Jason Call with Handyman Web Design. Many of you already work with him, but I would definitely recommend you speak with him to kind of get a good marketing idea. Also coming out with a brand new book. I told you guys a while ago that I wanted to, or I felt like I should write a book. I don't know if you guys remember this. This was probably like 2 years ago, and I'm working on 2 books right now. But the book that I'm about to be launching, I'm really excited about it. I think it's gonna be huge. I'm really excited about it. But it's called the Handyman Marketing Handbook. Let's see if it will load here. Yeah, here it is. So here's the cover, the Handyman Marketing Handbook. Let's get it. Yeah, right there. Handyman Marketing Handbook, which I am super excited about launching this thing. It's all about, if you guys have seen on the Handyman Journey, and also the Handyman Journey Mastermind group on Facebook, I posted about that, asking for people to read it and review it. I'm looking for about 3 guys to read it, apply it to their business, and then give me a review on how it has helped their business or how it's helped their mind to understand more of marketing. In that book, I'm planning on hopefully launching that book here in probably about a month or so. And in that book, I talk specifically about the marketing strategies that I've used to grow my handyman business to where it is now, and how you guys could do that too. My thought was, when I first started my handyman business, I really had no one or no thing telling me, say, hey, do this to have a successful handyman business. It was kind of me just like trying things and being like, well, maybe this will work, or maybe this will work. And so this book came out of a lot of failure. A lot of failure, but also a lot of success from what I've done. I've tried a bunch of different marketing strategies, and a bunch of different strategies in general, business strategies to run my business. And this marketing handbook is comprised of things that have worked for me and helped me grow my business to where I am now, having, you know, 1 technician employee and a secretary, and it has been phenomenal. So I wrote that down. I'm planning on launching that, but that is also forwarded by my marketing guy, and has a lot of great input from him as well. But let's get back to the comments here. David Nelson says, jobs started canceling last week. As of yesterday, I'm off till Monday. Yeah, so we had jobs cancel last week. Friday, we had 2 people call, and the Monday appointment and the Wednesday appointment for this week canceled. So I had to work my butt off in the weekend, wrote up a bunch of estimates in the weekend, sold some jobs, and I was able to fill the Monday and the Wednesday appointment. And our Friday appointment also canceled about a week and a half ago. I was able to fill in that. We still have a little bit of time on Friday, but really not a whole lot. And currently we have, so this week's looking like it's full, which is great. But we did have to do some scrambling to get up there. So I can definitely feel ya about people canceling. And the people that canceled, they didn't want to cancel indefinitely. They just want to cancel for probably about a month or so until all this COVID-19 stuff goes away, which is very interesting because a lot of the things coming out now is saying that it's not going to be peaking here in California till like the end of April. So I would think we're probably going to be looking at like 2 more months of this chaos, if not more. So I don't think that people will be ready for us to, these people that are canceling, I don't think they'll feel comfortable even at the end of April for us coming and do their work. I think it's going to take probably up to 2 months for them to feel comfortable. So it's going to be some challenging times. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. Personally, it's a little crazy. I mean, we've never seen this before, so it's very interesting. Kevin Huffman says, we are handling emergency calls only right now. We have a couple estimates we are working on now, and once the stay-home order is lifted, we have quite a bit of work to schedule. Yeah, that's once that stay-at-home order is lifted. I don't know when that stay-at-home order is going to be lifted. I mean, honestly, in California, it's looking like it's going to be into May, probably, which is pretty insane. I mean, it's a whole nother month of this. So, really insane. Let's see, is that still on? Okay, good. JB Engineering and Design says, work is great. Have a commercial job out in Hawthorne for SpaceX. Nice. It's hard to keep people around right now, though. Yeah, I would agree. I know I've talked to some business owners, and they've told their boss, they're like, hey, I'm just not coming into work. I'm quarantining myself. Like, people just, they don't, they're afraid to go out. They're afraid to get anything. So I can definitely understand that. Hey, how's the video quality, guys? Is it lagging, or is it looking all right? I would love your input in the comments. Can you guys even hear me? Can you see me? Is it blurry? Is it laggy? Like, like, I don't know. Because we just recently moved, if you guys have watched some of our last videos. So we're still trying to figure out the Wi-Fi and things like that. So I would love to hear if it's laggy or what it's looking like. But let's get back to these comments here. Matt Jones says, have you been asked to build point-of-sale COVID barriers? I see a lot of shoddy ones going up at stores to protect employees. No, I don't. No, I haven't. I haven't been asked to build any of those. That's interesting. I haven't even heard of those. That's very interesting. Anthony Del Grego says, do you use software for the estimates? Yes, I use the Market app. If you guys have heard me talk about the Market app, we actually had an ad running for quite a while on the Handyman Journey YouTube channel. But this is the Market app. It works really well for estimating, invoicing, and it's also a full, I don't think it's showing up. The light's all messing up. But it's an invoicing, estimating, and a CRM, which is pretty sweet. So that's what I use for estimating. Works great. If you go on over there, tell them that Honestly sent you. Kobus says, doing good in South Africa, but after lockdown, business is down a lot. Doing all admin and marketing right now. Yeah, I mean, this is the point where we need to do administrative stuff in our businesses and marketing. Very important, because things are definitely different than they have been. Dustin Payne says, I'm still getting calls. I market with Valpak. It's done great. I also have a general contractor that gives me jobs he don't want. Awesome, man. What is Valpak? I've never heard of Valpak. That must be a marketing agency. Very, very cool. Business is decent for Nick Gurr Handyman. However, COVID-19 is losing us profit. Yeah, it's a little tricky. There's a lot of different aspects that are affecting our businesses for sure. I'm gonna go ahead and share this live video. If you guys haven't yet, share this live video on your Facebook post. On your Facebook, share it on your Facebook, and then also share it in the Handyman Facebook group if you haven't yet. I'm gonna actually share this right now in the Handyman Journey Facebook group. Because you never know who might want to see what we're doing and who might have something to learn. Let's see here. Post. Okay. Let's see here. We got Heather Schneider says, by the way, this is Fred. I'm using my daughter's account. Anyway, I think you should check out a link about the $10,000 economic disaster relief grant of a forgivable grant for small businesses. Okay, so Fred's saying that there is a $10,000 economic disaster relief grant. Has anyone here applied for that, or what are your guys' thoughts on that? He'll send the link here. Fred will send the link. Kobus says, out of South Africa, says, luckily I do supply the GPs in the area with liquid nitrogen as well. That's awesome. In these times, it's always great to have another source of income. I think that's very important to not only have the handyman business as your source of income, but have other sources of income. So maybe that is real estate. Maybe it's raising and selling farm animals. Maybe that's delivering liquid nitrogen. Like, there's a lot of things that, truck driving, there's a lot of things that you can do for making money. So I think that's a very important aspect of being an entrepreneur. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to create here. So, Acosta DC says, I can't wait till you are #1 handyman YouTube channel. That other guy is skilled, but not as good of a human being as you are. Hey, thanks. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, man. Kai Jefford says, business is booming here in Atlanta for... Awesome, man. That's great. I can't wait till you release that. Oh, I assume talking about the Handyman Marketing Handbook. No, we're not. Let's see here. Let's see. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to figure this out here. Let's see. Which one was I on here? Sorry, guys. So yeah, Acosta DC. I can't speak to other people. I think we all have strengths and weaknesses. I just try and do the best I can, and I know that other handymen do that as well. So that's important. Fred says, I worked for a developer for over 10 years doing luxury condos in Baltimore. Now I work for myself after meeting 12 years of very rich people that I originally did punch-out work for during settlements. Nice. David Nelson says, I've been burning it on both ends for a while now, so I don't mind some time off. Nice. It is lagging. Okay, so sorry if the video is lagging. I don't really know what else to do here because it's oh, you can't hear me. Lagging and choppy. Dang it. We also did a job for the 26th of March for $3,400 just before the lockdown. Nice. Does lag a bit time to time. Video is lagging and buffering. Washington State. So I'm sorry, guys, that it's lagging here, and sorry it's taking me a while to get to your comments. But that I don't really know what else to do about the Wi-Fi right now, other than get it better for next time. On this next video, I will definitely get it better. Thanks for chiming in and letting me know how that's looking. I'll see what I can do about fixing that on the next video. Eric Young says Washington State stopping all construction unless deemed essential, rental properties or insurance buildbacks. Wow. A Costa DC says you should not be on Wi-Fi, plug network cable in. I don't have a network cable in because we just moved, and I live in a travel trailer, so I don't have a network cable. That's what we're trying to figure out, but I will get this figured out for next time. Tom Adams says, looks good, sounds good. A Costa DC says, do you find any calls for home automation jobs, or do you handle any of that? No, we don't really handle any of that. Haven't really. I was working at a brand new home probably 2-3 months ago, and the guy had just bought it. I was installing a bunch of light fixtures and TVs and stuff, and they had a home automation guy come in because the new home was built for home automation. So that was kind of interesting talking with him, and just talking kind of about what the future's looking like, and it's crazy stuff. Really interesting. Yeah, sorry, it's choppy. Valpak is home delivered coupons, zip code specific. Oh, okay, interesting. Eric Young says, actually received a call from Labor and Industries. They are calling on contractors to see if they are working. Dustin Payne says, I use Market, works great for me. Is your connection bad? Yeah, sorry guys. I'm using Wi-Fi at our new place, so I honestly don't think it's very good. So sorry about that. Oh, hit the like button. If you guys haven't yet, like this video. That would help a lot. That would help a lot to like this video. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see here. I use Valpak coupon for a garage door adjustment lube, $35. Nice. I didn't know Valpak was such a big thing. I've never heard of it before. That's awesome. Yeah, Shaddy, I am on Wi-Fi. I don't have access to Ethernet right now because we just moved. So, yeah. Fred says, would like to share some stories sometime of working for filthy rich people, sometimes celebrities, professional athletes. Just because they are rich, they still keep track of the money. That's very true. They do pay for good, honest work. Yeah, yeah, I would agree. I think rich people, they didn't get rich by wasting their money. I think they got rich because they're frugal and they know how to spend their money. So a lot of times I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, I hate working for rich people because they're so stingy." And a lot of times they are stingy, right? That's because they require value for their work. But like Fred says, if you do good, honest work, they will respect that and pay for it. Because at the end of the day, people who are wealthy, it's a different mindset than most people. Most people don't understand that, but it's a whole different mindset. They're looking at what can I get for the amount of money that I'm spending, rather than how much money do I need to spend to get this done. You understand? So they're perfectly fine with spending money to get things done, but they're wondering what quality can I get, like the amount of quality I can get for the amount of money I can pay. That's what they're looking for. So if they want something done just real quick, they're going to pay low dollar for it. But if they want something done that's fairly expensive, they're gonna understand that. But oftentimes that comes off as stinginess. Do you understand? So if you provide good, honest work and they believe and trust in you, then they will hire you. Like I did work for a really rich guy probably 2 months ago, and I gave him the estimate, and it actually took him quite a while because he told me when he was getting an estimate, he's like, just so you know, I'm getting like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 estimates, and I'm just gonna see, which one I like the best, right? So usually when that happens, those people don't go with me, because there's always someone cheaper, right? If they're looking for the cheapest guy out there, it's not me. I'll tell you that right from the get-go. But this guy, he called me back about a week later, and he said, "Hey, Alan, just to let you know, I got 5 estimates, and your estimate was the highest estimate." That's what he told me, and I'm like, "Okay, cool," And he says, "But I really want to work with you because out of everyone, I felt like you were the most professional. He actually told me a few stories of other people that he had come to do the estimates and kind of how they interacted with him, and how one guy was like going quicker than he could even tell him what needed to be done. He was just like he was on drugs or something. Like he was just moving fast, and he was throwing out numbers like. He was like trying to take note. The homeowner was trying to take notes because the handyman was just speaking so fast, being like, "Oh yeah, that's gonna be $250. That's gonna be whatever, this and that and that." And he was just like, and so he said at the end of the day, it was just overwhelming, and that guy was completely not what he wanted to work with. So he ended up hiring us, and we did an amazing job at his house, and we charged, good money for it. But he respected that at the end of the day. So that made me feel good and really reaffirmed in me that it's important to charge what you need to charge, but also have a professionalism that matches what you need to charge. If you need to charge $100 an hour and the services you provide are like $20 an hour service, like what you're going to find at McDonald's, right? Then you need to figure stuff out, right? If you're going to charge $100 an hour, you need to be showing them about $120, $125 an hour service. So you need to up your game in whichever way it is, whether that is getting a nice crisp uniform, combing your hair, you should always be brushing your teeth, shaving, having a high quality estimating and invoicing software like Market, having a top-notch marketing platform, like Handyman web design offers. And these are all things that we teach on a daily basis in the Handyman journey. If you don't know, we have top-notch courses at thehandymanjourney.com that take you through and teach you about pricing, marketing, everything you can think about. And this new marketing handbook is going to be a new addition to the Handyman Journey platform. But we teach people every single day from all around the world about how to start up a new handyman business or take their business to the next level. And it's all designed on that principle of you charge $100 an hour, you show them $125 an hour service. Like you underpromise and overdeliver. That's what it's all about. A lot of times people will overpromise and underdeliver, right? Who's ever seen that before, right? We don't like it when our kids do it to us, so why do we do it to other people? We need to underpromise and overdeliver, right? So when the client walks in at the end of the day, they need to just be blown away by the work that you've done. Like it looks phenomenal. There's not a scratch anywhere. There's not a dent anywhere. Everything's cleaned up. The carpet's cleaner than when you got there. I've shown up at people's houses where they have dogs, right? Like shedding dogs, right? And you go in and like you do like a dishwasher, right? And you pull the dishwasher out and there's just full of dog hair in there. And then also the kitchen floor is just full of dog hair everywhere, right? Just make it cleaner than when you got there. Because when the client comes in and doesn't see dog hair everywhere, they're going to be like, whoa, he cleaned my house. Like, this guy's freaking amazing, So it's important to underpromise and overdeliver. If you guys have any questions about that, I would highly recommend you get plugged into the courses right now. They are at a very valued price of $99 for the whole marketing package. You get 3 courses in one. It's a crazy deal. Go check that out at handymanjourney.com. I would highly recommend you take a look at that. It is a very, very good resource. And a lot of people have benefited and have started new handyman businesses or taken their handyman business to the next level. So if you guys are ready for that, your next step is to get plugged into thehandymanjourney.com. It's phenomenal. Sorry, guys. I get excited about that because I get so excited about helping people take their business to the next level or learn about marketing or learn about pricing, because a lot of people don't understand, for one, about pricing. They just choose a price out of thin air, and they don't even know if that's enough to make their business profitable. I mean, how many of you guys have run a profit and loss statement on your business? How many of you guys know how much profit your business brings in at the end of the month? How many of you guys know what your net profit margin is, right? How many of you people know how much money you can give away, how much money you can tithe, how much money you can help people with, right? We have a budget every single month based on our net profits from the month before of how much we can give to people, right? How much we can help people. That to me is an amazing part of this business, is that like the profit we get, right? We're not just hoarding it. You can if you want. I'm not going to judge you, but we as Honestly Handyman, we take some of that profit and we give it away. We give it away. We give it away to people in need, right? Whether that's helping free kids from the sex trade industry, whether that's building houses where people need it, whether that's rebuilding houses that have been damaged by the wildfires here in California, whether that's helping an old lady who can't afford to replace her garbage disposal. Like, it's amazing, guys, to actually create a business that helps people. It's absolutely phenomenal. So if you don't give money away, like, I'm not just saying, like, give it away, right? But I'm like, if you don't have a budget for your business of money that you can use to help people in whichever way you feel called to, I would challenge you to set that up, because when you do that, it's very empowering. And then also that requires you to look at your business and know how much profit you're bringing in. And because this tithe money, or this money that you're giving away, is based off of your profit. So if you don't know how much your profit is, then how do you know how much money you're going to be giving away, right? It's an empowering thing. I would encourage you guys, challenge you guys to do that, because it's pretty awesome. It changes your perspective on business when instead of just focusing on how much money you're bringing in and how much money you're stashing away in the corner of the room or in your bank, you're focusing on how much money can I use to help people, and it's phenomenal. So sorry guys, I'm ranting all over the place here. It's really, really crazy. You guys are getting me excited here. Kobus says, good luck on your business for the next few months coming up. Best of luck. Hey, best of luck to you, Kobus, and I really appreciate you tuning in. It's been excellent to hear about your journey there in South Africa. That's awesome. Nathan Shadle says, is there a way I can personally message you? Yes, you can personally message me. Go over to the Handyman Journey or handymanjourney.com. And if you scroll down, there is a message platform where you can submit a message to me. Maybe it's a consulting question. Maybe it's a question about the courses. Maybe it's a personal question about COVID-19 or how to handle things or what to do with your business or your family. You can submit that question on handymanjourney.com. So go ahead and go to handymanjourney.com, scroll all the way down, and there is a message platform there that you can submit a question directly to me. So I would love to chat with you. If you guys have any questions at all, feel free to go there. Let's see here. Fred says, I think you could do a whole video on the CARES Act for small businesses. Yeah, that's very interesting. That's a very interesting thought, the CARES Act. I will look that up. Thanks a lot, Fred. Appreciate that. Tom Adams says, do you think people will be offended if I show up with a mask and glove to estimate a surface cost? No, not at all. I think people will understand, especially in this day and age. I think people will definitely understand that you show up with a mask and gloves. I think some people might even enjoy it. They might like that you're taking the necessary precautions to keep them safe. Dustin Payne says, skilled handymen are not cheap. Cheap handymen are not skilled. That's the key right there, buddy. Dustin, you hit that right on the head. Skilled handymen are not cheap. Cheap handymen are not skilled. That's very true, right? If someone's cheap, why are they cheap? That's a very good question to ask. If they're expensive, why are they expensive, right? That's an amazing philosophical thought right there. Kobus says it's better working for wealthy people. In my experience, they pay immediately for quality work. I agree. Quality work's where it's at. Elvin Padilla says, are there any professional handyman organizations you recommend that not only help with marketing but also provide training in different areas like home smart technology and installing appliances? Elvin, I'm not quite sure what you're talking about, but there's a lot of free training on YouTube. I mean, that'd be where I would start. Go over to the Handyman Journey YouTube page where you're watching this video and go to the playlists. And there's a playlist called, I think it's called Handyman DIY. And I have a bunch of DIY videos where I explain how to do things. So I have everything from how to fix an ice maker, how to replace a smoke detector, how to replace a dishwasher, how to fix a dishwasher. So there's a bunch of different videos that I have on my personal YouTube video that you can watch for free. I would probably start there. The playlist is called Handyman DIY. I believe it's called Handyman DIY. Let me see. And I would say start there. There's a lot of great videos there that I've made in the past that would probably be very helpful. And I think they're along the lines of what you're looking for, if I am correct. Let's see. The playlist is called DIY How To is what it's called. There's currently 5 videos in there, but I obviously haven't added to that a lot because I have a lot of DIY videos. What are the other ones called? Right there. No. So I have two. I have one that's DIY How To. That one only has 5 videos. So, but the one that I'm thinking about is the Handyman DIY. If you go to that one, it has 34 videos right now. It's got workbench, how to install a dishwasher, how to replace a miter saw blade, how to get more hot water out of your bathroom shower, how to replace a rotten fence post, how to replace carpet tiles, how to replace garbage disposal. I'm playing that one. How to install an over-the-range microwave. How to install pictures when there's no stud. How to install a Nest security camera. How to rescreen a window. How to install a zip line. This one was fun. How to install a zip line. Oh, that was such a fun job. How to install a security door. How to hook a hose to your shower head. That's an interesting one. How to replace a broken sprinkler valve. And all you can want is right there. So I would start there, buddy. So Elvin, that's what I would say. Check out my YouTube channel. David Nelson says, good quality, low price, fast job completion. You can pick any two. That's true. Good job, low price, or fast job completion. You can only pick two. That's very true. WF Drum, so lesson of the day, don't do drugs before doing an estimate. Yes. Yes, that is very true. Don't do drugs before going to do an estimate. D. Johnson says, what happened earlier? YouTube flagged you and shut down the live video. Yeah, I don't know why YouTube flagged me and shut down my live video. I'm not sure what happened. I don't know if someone reported it or it was just a live video just like this. So I don't know what, but it had told me that there was some sort of copyright issue or something. So I don't know if it happened to do with the streaming system I'm using to stream this or what, but for some reason or another, they shut me down. But we're here now, so that's kind of weird. Let's see here. Dustin Payne says, I like working for rich people, but the only time I got screwed out of money was for a rich woman. She told me she was not going to pay me because she can afford a better lawyer. Wow, that sucks. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. In some places, the handyman really has no authority. So in California, it's pretty lame. There's a lot of legislation in California, as most of you may know. There is no handyman license, according to the CSLB, which is the California Contractor State License Board. So since there's no handyman license, there's only a contractor's license, and then anyone that's not a contractor is considered an unlicensed contractor. That's what we're considered, right? So, and it says in the CSLB contractor laws that the handyman, the homeowner is not required to pay the handyman. And the handyman has no say in the matter because the CSLB is the governance for this contracting business, and they've made it where if you don't have a contractor's license, they're not going to back you, which I think is complete bullcrap, because they're saying that unless you pay us to get a contractor's license, we're not going to back you if someone doesn't want to pay you, right? I think it's all a bureaucratic way of making money, which is kind of ridiculous, but don't get me started on that. I don't even know. I mean, who's the CSLB to tell us that we can't work on someone's house? It's absolutely ridiculous. It's crazy, man. So at the end of the day, watch out. Make sure you know your laws in your area, and make sure you don't get screwed. Make sure people pay you that they have to pay you. Because in California, a handyman couldn't even sue a client and win because I'm just a handyman. I'm an unlicensed contractor, right? So the CSLB governing authority, however they got their authority, I don't even know, have said that unless you're a contractor, we're not going to back you, which is pretty crazy. Let's see. Fred says, my vacuum is always full of people's dog hair. Yeah, a lot of people have a lot of dog hair. So it's a good thing just to clean it up, you know. That's awesome. Kobus says, I normally change pensioners a 25% discount that help them a lot. That's awesome, man. That's great. Dying Fly says, hi, Alan. Really enjoy the Handyman Journey videos. All the best from the UK, Alistair, and thanks for answering my question about the Torx bit the other day. Hey, you're welcome, man. Glad to have you here. Thanks from the UK. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Shaddy2 says, you can register on Amazon to be a professional installer for smart home devices. Awesome. Elvin Padilla says, thanks. Yeah, regarding the YouTube channel and all those videos. So I think that would be helpful. I know I've put, I don't even know how much, probably thousands of hours into the YouTube channel. I have so many videos. Like, if you guys are interested in whatever it might be, we might have a video about it. It's been fun making all these videos throughout the years. I'm actually just about to release another one about how to repair a Streamlight Stinger flashlight. So I'm excited about that. Kind of a simple job, but it's important, right? Jimmy Martin says, as a beginner in the handyman world, less than a year, I'm doing work for family and friends. Any advice thinking back to your beginning years as a handyman? Yes, Jimmy, there's a lot I would do differently because, like I said before, when I first started my handyman business, there was no one to tell me, hey, do this to create a successful handyman business. So I spent many hours thinking through my business, where it has been, the things I've done, the things I've failed at, the things I've succeeded at, and I created the Handyman Journey 101 courses, which are all the way from creating a successful business plan for your business, all the way from marketing to pricing handyman jobs. Really goes in depth on all of those. I would recommend you start there because that's really all about my successes and my failures and teaches you what I wish I knew when I first started. So that's what I would definitely recommend to check out. That's over at handymanjourney.com. I'm also working on a new course right now. I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be called, but basically it goes from my first month all the way up to my 6th month in business. It goes through all of my profit and loss statements for all those 6 months. It goes through my jobs. It goes through what I've done right, what I did wrong. And then it also talks about my marketing strategy in those, as well as my pricing strategy and how those evolved throughout the months and kind of the things I've learned through those first 6 months. That was a really trying time for me. And I think another very interesting thing is I talk a lot about, I didn't intend to talk about this, but in that course, I talk a lot about credit and credit cards because it's very interesting because I didn't have a credit card when I first started, and then I got a credit card within my first 6 months, and my profit and loss statements went off the roof like when I got a credit card. All of a sudden, when I got a credit card, it did something in my brain saying, oh, you have all this money you can spend. It was absolutely ridiculous. Like, I spent so much more money in the business after I got a credit card. And it's absolutely phenomenal seeing that, looking back and looking at my numbers and seeing how the numbers correlate with me getting a credit card. Like, it's crazy. I didn't think getting a credit card for the business would change things much at all because my thought was, I'm already buying materials for the client and they're paying me back for those materials. So why not buy those materials on a credit card and then get the credit card points or the travel points or whatever, and then pay off the credit card with the money that I get from the clients to, so pay it off every month, which I did. But there's something about money coming out of a credit card versus money coming out of the bank account that does something in your head that says, oh, you can spend more money, or you can buy that Reese's cup when you're just leaving Home Depot, or you could buy that Snickers, or you could buy that bottle of Coca-Cola, right? Because it's just on the credit card, and it's helping you get more miles. So why not buy the Coca-Cola? Because you're getting more miles. It's a trap, guys. It's a trap. But it's very interesting that I go into that because that's not what I intended. So it's a very interesting thought. Great question, Jimmy Martin. I really appreciate that question. A little off topic here. I'm working on creating some sort of, I haven't quite figured it out yet. I've been brainstorming it. I'm working on creating some sort of like program where I give money back, or not money back, where I give away free labor hours to people in need based off this COVID-19. So people that maybe they can't afford things, maybe they're off work, but they really need something done, I would donate X amount of hours to help them out on whatever project they need. I'm not exactly sure how that'll go down yet. I'm currently working on it. So if you guys have any ideas, I'd love to hear your ideas, and maybe I can implement those. But my thought was maybe putting it out there on Facebook and seeing if people could nominate someone, like nominate a family in need. I used to work for this fantastic automotive shop that they would do like a family in need every year around Christmas time. And people would nominate different families in need, and then they would choose one family in need, and then they would give them X amount of dollars or X amount of labor hours, basically, to fix their car. And then they would also give them some Christmas presents and things like that for their kids or whatnot. Just a really impactful thing. And I think that this is an amazing time to be in a business for yourself, because you can make that choice to help people out that need it. Because there are people out there that are struggling. There are people out there that have lost their job. And we as small business owners, we might be, if we've done our finances right, we might be in a position to help people out in this time. And I just think that would be really, really cool and speak to the mission of our business of helping people thrive and helping people get the stuff done that they need to do around their house. So I've been thinking about that. If you guys have any ideas about that, I would love to kind of brainstorm with y'all. You know, what are your thoughts on that? How could I implement that? Should I have people nominate other people? I don't know. Just throwing it out there. Ryan Redinger says, I've been working on getting my handyman general contracting business started since mid-February. Should I hit pause or take this opportunity to get things ready to take off once things open back up? Yeah, so Ryan, what stage are you at in starting your handyman general contracting business, and have you gotten any jobs yet? I would need a little bit more information before I can answer that fully, but I wouldn't hold off on things because I think this is a great time to ramp up marketing, because a lot of people are stopping marketing right now. So I think there's a big gap, a huge hole that we can fill as marketing handyman. So I think right now is the perfect time to ramp up your marketing and get things going. So, but yeah, I'd love some more information on that. Mildred Gridjalva, sorry if I butchered your last name there. Can you go into more detail about how you're doing virtual estimates FaceTime? No, so virtual estimates, basically they reach out to my secretary. The secretary puts it on my calendar, and then I reach out to them either via phone call or text message. Yeah, I just got, yeah, this regarding I just got an email from YouTube saying, as you may know, blah, 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 blah. Your video, Handyman Live Q&A, was flagged for review. Upon review, we've determined that it violates our guidelines and we've removed it from YouTube. I don't know. Well, and then one other note is, due to this COVID-19, a number of our normal review processes have been disrupted. So basically, they've gone away from actual people reviewing the videos to robots reviewing the videos. So that may affect the videos that get flagged and removed. But for some reason, my video got removed. But sorry, let's go back to the virtual estimates. So I get the clients. We ask for pictures from the client. I get the client's phone number. I reach out to the client either through text message or phone call. If I need more pictures, I'll ask them for that. And then I can kind of get a good grasp of what's going on and then write them up an estimate via the Market app, send it over to them. If they accept it, dispatch our technician, and then we go from there. One guy, 2 weeks ago, I talked with him on the phone. He needed gutter guards. So we were talking on the phone. He told me his address. I looked up his address on Google Earth, and I was able to use the little measuring tape on Google Earth, and I measured his gutters around his house, and then gave him an estimate for installing gutter guards. He accepted it. We dispatch our employee. Our technician. We make it happen. Pretty exciting. So virtual estimates kind of open up a new door for sending out estimates quickly. I don't think it fully replaces person-on-person estimates, because I think that there's something about showing yourself as a professional person to people. I think that helps sell the job. One thing that my marketing professional did, we were talking about this yesterday, is he mentioned that one thing I could do is create like a video that I send to these potential clients, explaining who I am, what we're doing, how we're doing virtual estimates, and so try and get some of that personal interaction before I send them an estimate. So let's see here. So that's what I'm currently doing. So that's why I'm on the phone, off the phone. Kobus says, have a great evening, Alan. Going to bed now. Love your videos. Kobus from South Africa. Thanks, man, for tuning in. We really appreciate you. Hope you have a fantastic evening. It's evening in South Africa. So that's awesome, man. See you, man. Thanks so much. Fred Schneider says, pricing is the hardest thing in the world for me. My base is $65 per hour. I have plenty of customers. It's hard to change hourly rate when I've had some customers for over a decade. Fred, I can totally feel you. I agree with you. It's hard to, like when I made the jump, because when I first started out, I did $50 an hour, and then I went to $75 an hour. Now we're at $90 an hour. Actually looking at another increase here shortly. So it's hard for, like, when I first started, they called me and I was $50 an hour. And then they'd call me again and I was $75 an hour. And then they'd call me again and I was $90 an hour. It's hard to make that transition. And I have lost a lot of clients because of that. Some clients they're looking for a $50 an hour handyman. Some clients are looking for a $75 an hour handyman. Some clients are looking for a $20 an hour handyman. So the thing about marketing in the handyman business is that the first thing you need to know is that not everyone is your ideal client. There's a lot of people out there that are not your ideal client, that they want to work for the person charging $10, $20 an hour that's going to do a subpar job, right? And there are a lot of clients that want to pay $100 an hour for someone who's looking professional, comes in, does a fabulous job, and is professional from the beginning to the end. So it all depends what the people are looking for. And sometimes people are not looking for what you have. And that's fine. Sometimes in business, you need to look at people and be like, yeah, we're just not a good fit, right? And you need to go two different ways. So there's nothing wrong with that. Don't be ashamed of that. But it's hard to move pricing up, but it's a very important thing to do. I didn't get any answers. It's kind of funny. No one answered my question of how many of you guys know what your net profit margin is every month, right? And I don't know if maybe you guys some people felt like they didn't need to answer that, but my question is, like, did you guys not answer that because no one knows it? And it's fine if you guys don't know it, right? Like, be real. This is all about being real, right? That's why I do these vlogs, right? The vlogs are all about my real jobs. You guys have seen it in the vlogs where I've screwed jobs up. I've underestimated jobs, right? I've overestimated jobs. I've done things wrong, right? I try through this YouTube channel, I try and show my wins and my losses, my successes and my failures. So if you guys have that, I would love to hear it, right? If you don't know what your profit margin is every month, I'd love to hear it. If you haven't ever run a profit and loss statement on your business, I would love to hear it. That's another important thing, is you need to know how much money your business needs to make. Like, what if you're charging $65 an hour and your business really needs $75 an hour to survive, right? Because are you factoring in my marketing course on handymanjourney.com, I talk about pricing in the fact of you need to cover your expenses first, right? And there is that profit first ideal, and I'm not going against that. I'm just saying there's a few things that you need to figure out with your pricing. You need to figure out your expenses. You need to figure out your unexpected costs, and then you also need to figure out your profit. I think those are three very important things to add into every pricing category. If you don't have these three things priced into your pricing, you're probably charging too little. I would guarantee you. It may look good at the end of the month, but you're probably not charging enough. So your expenses, you need to cover expenses. You need to. If you're not covering expenses, there's no point in even being in this business. If you're not covering your expenses and that's all you can charge, then you should not run a handyman business and go work for McDonald's or something, right? Because you can make more money working at McDonald's than a handyman business where you're not covering your expenses. You can make a lot of money being a handyman, if you do it right and if you charge enough. But you need to cover your expenses. There's a lot of people out there that maybe it's because they feel bad for their clients or they feel like they're charging too much, but they're not even covering their expenses, and you need to cover your expenses. And the first thing that you need to find out for that is knowing what your expenses are. And in that pricing course, I talk in depth how to find out what your expenses are and how to make sure that you're charging over that. So expenses. And then you need to have unexpected expenses, right? This is all this might be stuff like maybe a job went bad and you had to spend a few extra hours on that job, or maybe you had to buy a new junction box because the other one broke, or something like, unexpected stuff, right? Maybe your car broke down or your truck broke down and you need to put a new alternator in it or something like that. Unexpected expenses. And then profit. I always recommend adding on 20% profit to those two things, right? Very important, because if you don't have profit, again, just like if you're not covering expenses, quit and work at McDonald's. If you're not making a profit, quit and go work for McDonald's. I know that sounds harsh, but that's the reality of things, right? Is as a handyman, as a business owner, you need to be covering expenses and making a profit. And if you're not doing those two things, there's no point in being in business. No point at all. I would absolutely love to see you guys making a profit, because it's definitely doable. And that's what I teach every single day in my Handyman Journey courses on the handymanjourney.com. Very important. Very important. But you guys can do it. So, yeah. How many of you guys know your profit margin? I'll ask again. How many of you guys know your net profit margin? How many of you guys know your gross profit margin? How many of you guys have run a profit and loss on your business last month in February, right? How much money did you bring in and how much money did you spend? And what's the difference? It's a very interesting thought. But that's what businesses are made of, right? I think far too often, and sorry if I'm going on a rant, guys. This is something that I really feel compelled to say. I feel like people look at a handyman business as a hobby, right? And they maybe they look at, if you look at, let's take a company that everyone knows. Let's take a look at McDonald's, right? For some reason, McDonald's keeps coming up today. Or IBM, right? Or Microsoft. What's the difference of your business, your handyman business, and Microsoft? What's the difference of your handyman business and IBM, or your handyman business and McDonald's, right? It's just time and effort, Like our handyman businesses, a lot of people, they view their handyman business as a hobby, right? They're like, I'm going to do this because it provides enough money for my family and it gives me flexibility. But your business has so much more to offer than that, right? Your handyman business can literally be as big as Microsoft, There's nothing separating you from Microsoft other than time and devotion and effort, I think people need to start running their handyman business as a business. I think a lot of people don't. They run it as a hobby, and they run it as something that just pays the bills. But it has way more potential than that. Way more. So yeah, very interesting. I'm curious to see who chimes in on their net profit margin. Because Amazon has, statistically, a net profit margin of about 17%. So I always judge my business on that, right? How is my business doing compared to Amazon, right? And some people might say, well, that's not fair. Amazon's been in business for years. Amazon is a multi-million-dollar business. Amazon delivers packages every single day. There's no difference, right? We're all businesses, There are no small businesses. There's only small thinkers. It's important to think of your business as a big business. There's no difference between my business and Amazon, That's why Amazon 17%. Honestly, what are we at? And how can we get to Amazon? How can we get above Amazon, right? Very interesting thought. Nicholas says, advice for fixing doors that have swollen due to painting. Now don't shut properly. They've swollen due to painting. I don't quite know what that means. Can you sand them off? Sand it down? I don't know if it has too much paint on it, or are they swollen because water has gotten into them? If that's the case, you might need to replace them, but not exactly sure how to answer that. Fred says, I want to charge more sometimes. I do it by the job for electrical. Yeah, and that's really the key for me that I found is charge by the job rather than hourly. Because if you charge by the hour, you're stuck to that hourly wage. And no matter how quick you work, you still make that same amount of money. If you charge by the job, you can, say a job's going to take you 2 hours. But it might be an electrical job or it might be a dishwasher. Who knows what, right? Instead of, and say your hourly rate is $90 an hour, and you charge it by the hour, you can only charge $180 for that because it's going to take you 2 hours. But if you can do it in 2 hours and you bid it by the job, you can bid it for, say, $200, right? So you make an extra $10 an hour. That's efficiency right there. That's pretty good. So I would recommend charging by the job rather than the hour. Dustin Payne says, I started watching your videos around October 2018. I started my business March 2019. I have been doing great. I got 2 guys working for me now. Thanks to you, I made the jump. Dustin, hats off to you, bud. That is amazing, Dustin. Oh, I love to hear that, dude. Great work, Dustin. That is awesome, man. I really appreciate you saying that. He's been watching me since October 2018, started his business March 2019, and now he is doing great. Has 2 guys working for him. Man, Dustin, excellent work, Dustin. Oh, I appreciate you. That's great, man. Ryan says, just got my web domain and business license, working on branding now. Hoping to order yard signs by the end of the week, getting my truck set up and ready to work. I do have a few customers that I have done odd jobs for over the years. Yeah, Ryan, I would recommend just getting it going, man. I think you're on great start. I think that's great. Dustin Payne says, I don't know my net profit. That's fine, man. That's fine. Like I said, a lot of people don't. It's good to be honest, though. If you're interested in learning about net profit, you can definitely do some research online, learning about how to find that. But I would also recommend if you are interested in that to check out handymanjourney.com. That pricing course that I have created goes in depth about net profit and how to what you should be getting, how to calculate it, and how to get more of it. So I think it's very important. So check that out if you're interested in that. Fred Schneider says, people with multi-million-dollar homes don't want a $20 an hour handyman. They expect A1 quality. That doesn't happen for $20 per hour. I would agree, Fred. Totally. Dustin says, I think I'm making money because there is money in my bank account Dustin Payne says, I charge $100 an hour, but I don't tell the client that. I tell them I charge by the job. That's smart to tell them they charge by the job. That's a good indication that you have money, that money's still in the bank account at the end of the month, but has it been growing? Has that money been growing? It's so funny. We had a few years ago where our personal finances were totally out of order, and I would try and run a budget on that when I was first learning about budgeting. And every time I would run the budget, I would get frustrated because our expenses were always more than our income. But yet we always had money in the bank at the end of the month. I'm like, I honestly don't know how we keep having money in the bank at the end of the month. It would be low. It'd be like $1,000 or something like that. But our expenses were always higher than our income. And I don't know how we kept surviving, but we did. And so every time I wanted to do a budget, I just got frustrated because I'm like, this is completely ridiculous because it doesn't make any sense. So it's important to track everything. Track. So make sure that you are making money, making sure that your bank account is growing, not just staying static, right? I mean, our bank account would hover like 800 to 1,000 at the end of every month. And I'm like, I don't know how that's happening, right? So somehow, what I'm saying is somehow money was coming from somewhere that was not calculated, or it wasn't, I don't know what was happening. So sometimes when you just look at the end numbers, they can be very deceiving. It's important to look at the middle numbers. So if you look at a month, and you say, okay, the beginning of the month we had $1,000 in the bank account, and at the end of the month we have $1,000 in the bank account. Yeah, that's great, right? But if you looked at it, say in the middle of the month, and been like, in the middle of the month, how much money did we have in the bank account? And how does that correlate to the beginning, and how does that correlate to the end? And maybe what are some things that we could cut before we get to the end? So maybe instead of having $1,000 at the end of the month, we have like $1,200 at the end of the month, right? And with a business, a little bit different than personal. What that equates to is hourly rate, right? How much money you make on each job correlates, and that's like looking at the middle of the month, right? So when you look at the beginning and the end of the month, if you look at the middle, that is equivalent to looking at what your hourly wage is and how many jobs you're doing within a week, within 2 weeks, within a month, and how much you are expending, whether that's on people or things like that. Very important to look at. Very important. But I appreciate your honesty, Dustin. That is some amazing honesty. I applaud you for that. Most people wouldn't just give up the ghost and say, hey, I don't know these things. Because honestly, that's how I was too. When I first started out, I felt insecure about a lot of things because I would go to business seminars and people would be talking about, oh, net profit, gross profit, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, honestly, I will be honest with you guys. I didn't even know what gross and net meant, right? I was like, I had to look them up. I had to Google them. And it's embarrassing, but that's how I was. So when I was talking to these expert business people, they'd be throwing around all these words. I'm like, what's gross and what's net? I don't even know. And maybe some of you guys might think I'm stupid for that, but I didn't, I didn't pay very close attention in school, right? It wasn't my most fun thing to do. But being honest with yourself about the things that you do know and you don't know is the key, because the things that you don't know, you learn how to learn them and apply them and become masters at them, right? They say if you've done something for 5 years, you've become a master at it, right? So it's important to look at what you don't know right now, what you want to master, and the only thing separating those two is 5 years, right? So if you don't know if you don't know finances right now, and you want to be a financial expert in 5 years, start learning, right? That's all that there is to it. So I applaud you for that, Dustin. I think that takes some real courage. And thank you so much for saying that. Fred says, when I do charge by the job, it ends up being $100 per hour, sometimes more. 65 per hour is not enough for me as a father of 5 girls and a wife. Definitely need to raise my rates across the board. I would agree, Fred. That's what it sounds like. Fred says your competition must have flagged your last video. I don't know. Someone flagged it, but I've never had a video flagged before. So they always say if you have haters, then you know you're doing something right. So I must be doing something right. You know, I got haters. It's all good. It's all good. What do they say? Haters gonna hate, right? God is one. His name is Jesus. Says, I'm seeing your point and agreeing. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Jonathan Hardesty says, do you factor in a different profit margin depending on how big the job is? No. And Jonathan, that's a great question. I think that differs for me rather than most people because I'm in California. So since I'm not a contractor here in California, I can only do jobs up to $500 per project, including labor and materials. So I don't really have big jobs, right? I don't have like $10,000 jobs. I don't have $20,000 jobs. I have $500 projects, right? Now, sometimes there might be multiple projects going on where the whole bill equals like $2,000 or something like that, but it's not big by any means of what other people might be doing, right? So, yeah, so that is what, that's my thought on that. So I don't really do a different profit margin based on different jobs just because every single job is roughly around the same thing, if that makes sense. Ryan says you should add a forum on your website so these conversations can continue when you are offline. Hey, that's a good question. I mean, that's a good idea. I should definitely add a forum on my website. I like that. Yeah, we have a lot of these conversations going on the Handyman Journey Mastermind group on Facebook, but I like the idea of putting it on my website and having a forum on there. I think that's really cool. It's a great idea. I like that. Very great idea, Ryan. I appreciate that. Yep, you're on the Handyman Journey. Honestly, Handyman. YouTube. He went from Fortnite videos to this. Hey, man. Glad to have you here. Tom Adams says, what's your opinion on buying new tools versus pre-owned tools? And again, I don't use big, expensive tools, but for the tools that I use, buy new all the way. You know, that's my thought. My thought with tools is budget for the tools and the amount of money that you have available for that tool, buy the best tool you can for that amount of money, right? So when I first started out in the handyman business, I didn't have very much money and I needed a miter saw, right? So I went to Harbor Freight and I bought a miter saw. That was the best miter saw I could buy with the money that I had available, right? And then years down the way, I bought a better miter saw, right? And so it's all about matching your needs to the tool that you need, right? So if you need a bigger tool, go get it, right? And if the job can pay for it, go get it, right? Like I had a video I did probably 2 years ago installing a doggy door through stucco. If you guys remember, I had a Ryobi grinder that I was using to cut the stucco with, you know? And in the middle of that video, or in the middle of that job, the Ryobi grinder blew up on me, started smoking, this and that. So I needed to go get a new grinder. And I knew that I was going to be doing a lot of grinding and possibly more stucco cutting, right? So I decided to buy a really nice Milwaukee grinder. And I still use that thing to today. It was a great purchase. And so buy the tools that you can at the time when you can buy them and then upgrade as you need. You know, it's very important to upgrade as you need. But if I was buying bigger things, right? So say I had a landscape business and I needed to buy a ride-on lawnmower. I would not right now buy a new ride-on lawnmower. I would buy... Oh, I need to send text message real quick. So if I had to buy a ride-on lawnmower, I wouldn't buy a new one. I would buy I would buy a used one. And if I needed a excavator, small excavator that I haul around on our trailer, I wouldn't buy a new one. I would buy a used one. I think with equipment like that, same with trucks, right? It's trucks and cars, I think the moment you drive them off the lot, they lose value significantly. Same with trucks. I honestly, get it? A little pun. I don't think I'll ever buy a new car or a new truck. I just don't think I will. I think it's a waste of money. You buy a $70,000 truck and you drive it off the lot, and instantly it's worth $60,000. You just drove it off the lot, and it's worth $10,000 less than what you bought it for. It's completely ridiculous. So that's at least my thought. A lot of other people will disagree, and I know, yeah, I'm a cash guy. So if I'm going to buy something, save up money for it, buy it. Same with a house. I don't think I'm ever going to buy a new house. I might build a new house one day for myself, but yeah, I probably will build a new house for myself one day, but I will not buy a new house. I don't want a contractor built grade pile, a cracker box, I want my own house that I designed, that I built. Yeah. So, yeah, if that answers questions, small tools, buy them new. Large tools, like equipment, buy them used. If that makes sense, right? If I needed, probably the biggest I would go, if I needed a fence hole auger, right? Like a handheld, like a 2-man fence auger for X amount of dollars, I'd probably buy that new, depending on it. When I'm first starting out, I'd probably buy a used one. And then I would use the crap out of that until it blew up, and then I'd buy a new one, So start out reasonable, Don't spend more than you have, But great question, Tom. I appreciate that. Dustin Payne says Harbor Freight tools are good in my opinion. Yeah, I've had a lot of success with Harbor Freight tools. The only reason I don't use my Harbor Freight miter saw anymore is because I went to use it one day and the guard got cocked and just blew to pieces because it hit the saw blade. So I went to use it. I'm like, yeah, that thing's a death trap. So I got rid of it because I'm like, it's not worth cutting my hand off, Michael Huckabee says Harbor Freight saved my butt when I started out. Yep. Fred Schneider says Harbor Freight is okay for certain things only, but if you think you will use it for at least 3 different jobs in the future, then buy brand name. Yeah, that is a good standard to live by. Corey Vliet says, did you make a price sheet for the jobs you do, or do you just throw out a number for each job? We have a rough price sheet, and since I'm doing all the estimates, I kind of know what that is. And a lot of it, I don't think of jobs as prices. I think of them as time. How long will it take to get that job done? And then, so a few things go into... Cool. She wants you to be in a purple polo. Cool. Just got word from... I told you guys I was making videos for a home warranty company. I shot the first video yesterday. They loved the video, but I wasn't wearing their logoed shirt, which stinks. Because they didn't quite have it yet. They had ordered it later. So I think I'm going to have to reshoot that video. Not a big deal. Super fun shooting it. So that should be coming out here within the next few weeks. So sorry, let's... yeah, did you make a price sheet? So kind of the prices I have all up in my head. More of like an hour, how long that will take to get. So there's things that go into pricing a job. Is the hourly time, like the labor cost that it will take, and then also the complexity. So the specialization it will require, right? So electrical work and some plumbing work I charge a little bit more for. Like for instance, a light switch, right? If you know what you're doing, it takes you like 5 minutes to replace a light switch if you have it there and everything like that. Well, Am I only going to charge 5 minutes of labor for that? No, not really. Because there's a lot more expertise in that, you know. So it all depends on how things go. Let's see here. Some title cards. Talking to the national or the home warranty people. So I hope that answers your question about pricing. Fred Schneider says used all the way for cars and trucks, but the deals that are going on now and will come in a couple months might be tempting. Yeah, that's true. To get off topic here, and something that might be that some people might not agree with, I think that a lot of what's going on here and a lot of what's used and done through these events that have fear, that stimulate fear in people, I think the government or whoever, the powers that be, whoever that might be, I think they are skilled in using these crises or tragedies for their own gain, right? So I think now you can see it on some things that they've already implemented, but especially coming up in the next few months, there's going to be a huge push for debt. They're pushing debt because debt is how other people make money off of you, right? They're going to, and it's going to seem like, oh, I have to do this, or if I did this, it would make my life so much easier, because a lot of people are out of work right now, maybe low on finances, and this like angel of debt comes in and it's like, oh, ta-da, I can get $10,000 right now and I won't have to pay it back for 10 or 20 years. Like, that's freaking amazing, right? But these are designed by people, business owners, that take advantage of other people in crappy situations. So I would agree with you that there's going to be a lot of great deals coming out right now and in the future for cars or debt or houses or mortgages or refinancing or small business loans. Who knows? There's already small business loan stuff coming out. I would just say watch what you do, because you don't want to get in over your head. This is the time where I honestly think that times like this in crisis are when millionaires are made, right? And it's either you're going to make yourself the millionaire or someone's going to be a millionaire off your back, right? So think about where the money goes, right? Where does all this money go that these small business loans that they're offering, right? And how will that make someone else a millionaire? It's a crazy thought, and don't burn me at the stake, but that's my 2 cents. And again, like I said before, that's just my opinion. Don't take that as fact. Everyone's opinion is made up of mainly other people's opinions and not really their own thoughts. So it's a very interesting thought. So yeah, sorry, I got off topic there, like I do always. I got to go here shortly, guys. It's been great hanging out with y'all. Probably got about maybe 2 more minutes here, so we'll start saying bye and all that. So yeah, I got to set up some accounts for my rental house. Let's see here. Dustin Payne says, I like Portacable 20 volt tools. 20 I don't know why I can't say that. 20 volt tool set. Been good to me every day. Used for the last year. Hold on, I gotta answer my text message. Yep. So I gotta get going, guys. It's been great hanging out with y'all. Really appreciate this, and it's just been fun chatting with y'all, answering some questions, hearing your guys' thoughts. I'm excited going forward what we got planned and things that we're implementing in our business and things like that. So appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. Thank you so much. Loved chatting with y'all. If you guys have any more questions at all, feel free to reach out to me on handymanjourney.com. You can submit a question there, and then also on the Handyman Journey Facebook Mastermind group on Facebook would be a great way to communicate, as well as there's a lot of amazing people with some amazing thought. So I'm going to get going, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate each and every one of you. Corey says, it was great to catch you live. I will be looking forward to the next live feed. I have been following the vids. You help a lot. I appreciate that, man. Victor asks, what do I think about paying Google ads? Great question. And that is a question I answer in depth in my new Handyman Marketing Handbook. Super excited to release that. But I think it's a great thing. And I go further in the depth into that in my Handyman Marketing Handbook. If you guys want to be on the list of the first few people to receive that book, send me an email at handymanjourney